That's how it works. Your kids will grow up and they will start to act like you and look like you. When you had a good teacher and you were that teacher's disciple, that teacher's student, and you put yourself under that teacher's instruction and discipline, you start to become that teacher. And it is the disciple's nature that produces the disciple's fruit. And you can see where it goes from here. Because disciples become teachers. That's what we're all instructed to do. As followers, as disciples of Jesus, if you're a disciple of Jesus, you should be discipling other people. But what you don't want to do is teach them to be like you if you're not trying to put yourself at the feet of Jesus, at his teaching, at his instruction, and under his discipline. It's the discipline of Jesus. It's being a disciple of Jesus that changes us. It's the nature of it. It's not something that we work at, that we look at, well, I've got this problem, and I don't know what to do about this with God, and I don't think I can leave because of this. Right? I went through all that for a long time. And it was a really painful process to come through. And looking at that and trying to discipline myself to work through that didn't get me anywhere. Because that's not the nature of it. And we don't produce fruit in ourselves, God produces fruit in us. When you look at the fruit of the Spirit, right, there's passages that teach on the fruit of the Spirit, that's the fruit of the Spirit. It's the Spirit of God producing fruit in you. That's why it's so important that Jesus is the foundation, that we build our house on a solid foundation, because that's the implication here. If you are not at the feet of Jesus, under the teaching of Jesus, on a solid foundation, you are on a foundation that will wash away. Right? And whatever's on top of it falls down. Even if it looks good and okay, there's something in the foundation that's lacking. And that's what this passage is looking at. Now, just had a couple questions to think about as we end. These are things to for all of us to kind of process individually. Am I a disciple of Jesus? This is really the starting point. If you're not, then that's what I assume that's what you're here kind of processing through. Who is Jesus? Is he, someone I want to follow, that I want to be a disciple of? If you are a disciple of Jesus, if you call yourself a disciple of Jesus, and I'm not saying it in any more of an accusing way than Jesus was, because it's not an accusation, but if you call yourself a disciple of Jesus, how can I put myself under his teaching? Because the way I put myself under his teaching is the way I teach other people to put themselves under his teaching. What fruit do I see him producing in me? Because if I call him Lord, then it will affect my life. And it's a question really to genuinely think through. Because if you'd asked me 5 years ago, 3 years ago, what fruit do I see him producing in me, would have been a really hard question for me to answer. What fruit am I producing in the world, in others? Because if I'm a disciple of Jesus and it's changing me, then the fruit has to come out of me. Because that's the nature of it too. It has to go out to those around us. Right? The fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace. Right? I should experience love. Now, I should experience joy, I should experience peace. Right? And people around me should experience those things. And here's what this doesn't mean. This doesn't mean that people who are disciples of Jesus don't have issues with feeling love for people, feeling joy, peace, being patient with people, with caring about the needs of people in the community, the needs of people in the church. It doesn't mean that, like, oh, I'm a disciple of Jesus, so great, I got it down, good. Because it's a process. Right? When we are disciples of Jesus, it's a process that's worked through in us. The word that's a lot of times used in Christianity for it is sanctification. But it's something that happens over time. Right? Just like your kids grow up, right? We are children of God. And as kids grow up, they start to learn to process things through the foundation that they're given, that they build on. They learn how and when they need to correct their understanding of something through discipline. There's a lot here in this passage. And what Jesus is asking all of us to do is to think about how we relate ourselves in His feet, how we are disciples of Jesus, and what it means to be a disciple of Jesus. And to know that when we are disciples of Jesus, and this is the confidence we have in Christ, to know when we are a disciple of Jesus, we don't have to worry about the fruit, because it comes. God, I pray that you would continue to work in me. Thank you for the process that you brought me through. Help me to not have regrets about things that I'd squandered and wasted, and how I didn't follow you. But that you would give me peace about my identity in you, about who you are. That you would lead me in instruction and teaching and discipline. That discipline isn't always easy for any of us, but that you discipline those whom you love. It teaches us. It teaches us to be like you. And I pray that through the teaching that you have for us this morning, we would be a community that is changed, that produces fruit around us wherever we go. That it would be for the advancement of your kingdom. It would be who you are that comes out through us. And then, Ben's going to play a reflective song. Like I said, there is a lot in this passage, a lot of implications and a lot of different images. And all that we're really asked to do is to be disciples of Jesus. That should be our foundation for processing through things. Thank you.